Hello and welcome to the Crit to Block podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Maylott,
and Richard Lavery,
here to bring you in-depth conversation about Star Wars Legion. Today,
that's a stretch.
We are starting a mini-series focused on how to approach list building for each faction.
We get asked a lot about how to start approaching list building, especially for competitive play and by our newer players. While it's hard to cover every angle, what we're aiming to do is provide an explanation for where to start and how to progress, and give you some examples of, army builds for each of the different factions. To do this, we're also going to call in some help from some notable players of different factions to help break them down and teach us their ways. So, guest, tell the people who you are. It is you.
You people know who I am. Yeah, you found this show through my show. I'm Ryan of the STABcast. We've been doing this for forever. I'm a sad rebel boy at heart, and yeah, I'm here to confuse everyone with how to build lists that don't make sense.
Excellent. Well, Ryan, thank you for joining us and being our rebel expertise with Eric today. I'll be playing more of the role of a host, as I don't have nearly the experience building rebel lists that the two of you have.
Now, the funny thing for me is, and once again, welcome to your first STABcast tangent, is I know Eric not as a rebel player. I know Eric as an Empire player. Because almost all of the games I've played with Eric were X-Wing First Edition, and he flew a piss ton of TIE Phantoms into asteroids.
They were amazing and so good at hitting asteroids.
Specifically into asteroids. Great.
I wasn't good at the game, but man, it was fun.
No, neither was I. We met at many a bottom table.
Okay, great. Well, let's get started. And each one of these episodes, this is our pilot episode for this mini-series. They're going to follow the same format.
Nice, so, pun.
Thank you. Starting off, battle forces, yay or nay?
Rebels doesn't have any. Next question, please.
That's crazy. Since Bright Tree Village absolutely dominates the French meta, you're just writing it off immediately?
I'm writing it off as a rebel battle force.
Agreed.
Okay. It is. I think of it like Shadow Collective. Yeah. You have to spend a whole bunch of money on models that you only use in it. You are using 2 rebel units and, 2 to 3 Ewok units that you can use in a rebel army, but the rest are all, either beyond the limitations of mercenary rules or just unique. And all the good stuff that makes Bright Tree unique is unique just to it. So it doesn't play like Rebels. You can't think about it Rebels. Bright Tree is Bright Tree, and Bright Tree is good. It's just, I think if you are trying to do any kind of stats analysis, I don't think including Bright Tree as rebel win rate is particularly fair to it or to Rebels. That's, I guess, that I don't think that's a particularly hot take, but that's my lukewarm take.
Well, speaking of lukewarm, you both are writing off Echo Base as well.
I mean,
I'll let you go first, Eric. I have things to say.
Yeah, Ryan has a lot more experience on this than I do. He is a famous Echo Base player.
We're starting this episode spicy. It's
yes. I don't currently have any interest in Echo Base. I might look again once New Han and Luke come out, but I'm not particularly optimistic that it'll fix it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, what needs fixing? What is the weakness that you are seeing in Echo Base that makes you not want to play it?
Yeah, so a lot of battle forces, I'm not going to say that Echo Base is the most restrictive because probably Wookiees or even in a sense Bright Tree, although Bright Tree may have more options than Echo Base. You don't have that many options and you don't get a cool trade-off. You don't get the remnant trade-off of being able to swap things around and generate tokens and take things in different slots. You don't get the, Marquand and Tempest command cards. You don't get the cool EXD ability. You just get a list limiter and 1 good command card. Mm-hmm. And even then it was uber nerfed. Uber nerfed. Probably needed to be. But that was you took Echo Base to play hold at any cost, and they just neutered it without giving the battle force any other help. And with the objectives that we have right now, it's not particularly good at. And Tauntauns are 95 points.
Yep. The Tauntauns being 95 points are quite high. We asked the Wills about that. I think they said Tauntauns are on the list of things they're looking at, but haven't gotten to yet. We'll see in the future what that looks like. I'm interested to see this first new secondary objective that we got is
Sure.
a card action secondary that rewards getting out and getting a hold of these tokens quickly.
Sure.
I'm wondering if speed 3 units might be beneficial in doing that. They're
Yeah,
creature troopers. They can still perform the action.
They're Courage 2 creature troopers, so if you want to spend your one action picking up a box and not getting dodge tokens and not doing damage, you can do that.
Right, but victory points wins games.
It does.
Yeah, but I think I can get that victory point for a lot less than 95 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they're
like
Ryan
if they
is
were
alluding
if they were higher courage, maybe,
Yeah.
but you get one action on Tauntauns like so frequently after the first turn. That
and so once they only have one action, if they spend it picking up a box, they don't have dodges, and then they die.
And then they're not doing damage, and they're not trading up, they're not bogging things down. I think just Echo like needs some serious help. I think of all the lists, all the things the list can take, vets aren't seeing a ton of play outside of I feel like me and people just trying to take cheap core.
Eric plays a lot of vets.
Do you? Okay.
There's always at least one set of vets. Preferably two.
I think the speeders are overcosted for in the current, like how much impact can be generated nowadays. I don't think they're worth 135 points. And I don't think that they can survive towards the time of the game when you really need them. And so I just think everything they have to offer is just too expensive. And I got a buddy who's running like a triple FD list right now, and he's not doing it in Echo base to get the 4th because to kind of balance the list out, he needs things that Echo cannot take. So Echo base just needs a lot of love and help to be competitive. It's thematic, it's cool. I think they could do some cool things with it. I think the command cards need a rewrite and like maybe give it some way to like break those units for a turn or two in a way that others can't, like being able to put T21s and everything, or Imperial Marching Scouts, or EXD cool search tokens, or free moves like Wookiees get. Like they need some kind of pizzazz that they just do not have, because hold at any cost in its current iteration is not good enough to like piggyback a game off of like it used to be.
Okay. So what I'm hearing then from the two of you is that we don't want a battle force if we are building rebels. So talk to me about vanilla rebels then.
Yeah, well, go ahead. Go ahead. Eric.
Unless you're building specifically Bright Tree, which is it's
a bit of a tangent, but I was going to say, I have to believe there is another rebel battle force coming soon, because we are noticeably short on battle forces.
Yeah, incredibly short.
So I am assuming there will be something coming out in the next wave of releases,
maybe like the April update or something like that. Yeah,
like something like that. I have to assume there will be something. Maybe that will bring me back to a battle force.
Yeah, and I don't know. Eric may disagree with this. I think when I talk to Richard, or I talk to Bushman, or I talk to some of my other friends who don't play rebels predominantly. I'm assuming Richard, you've talked about your Crucible list ad nauseum, and you've talked about the T21 spam that you're taking right now on the show. I don't listen to your show. I don't know.
I talked about the Remnant list a little bit, but predominantly on other shows and not this one.
Okay.
Mostly because we don't talk about current events.
Sure.
I don't think I've talked about Stormtrooper Battalion too much yet, but when we get to our Empire episode, those are two things that we will be talking about pretty extensively.
So I think the way you build a lot of other factions, and not just battle forces, but just a lot of other factions in general, and I think this kind of marries the two topics of how you approach a list versus why I think the battle forces and rebels kind of suck. And Eric may disagree with this. When you put a list together, you can push an initiative. Like I've been talking to Bushman about this triple saber nonsense, or we're about to be getting Vader all over the place everywhere with Thrawn and Tarkin, where you have a thing that you're going to do. And if your opponent can stop that thing, if your opponent can stop your Imperial March Scouts Alpha Strike and take little to no damage while you're now in the middle, your Remnant list would kind of fall apart. If they had a way to quickly deal with 100%. Dark Troopers, they would fall apart. You are putting your initiative on the table and say, hey, here's my problem, deal with me. Rebels cannot do that. Rebels, you have to parry the meta and say, like, what am I likely to see? I have to have a little bit of an answer for armor. I have to have an answer for force users because I really only have two at a time that I can take, and 3 flavors of, and one of them doesn't really play like a force user. So you kind of have to play almost on the back foot, where you have to be ready to absorb whatever your opponent is going to try to do, and then either counterpunch or outplay the objective or do some other shenanigan, to where you can't just start a list, I think, in a vacuum. I think you have to look at since we're talking competitive, on what you think you're going to see at a 3-round tournament. What are the 3 most likely? Like, if you play the 3 stock standard meta lists, what are you likely to see? And you have to have an answer for each of those things within your list. It's like Operative Luke is like the only thing in Rebels that I typically play where it's like, here's my problem, deal with me. I know there's people running double land speeders. That's kind of that thing. Like, I'm going to go double tap these double land speeders, and then if you survive, I'm going to try to ride momentum off that. If you survive, then we're going to play a game. Bright Tree is very much that, which is why I think it doesn't really play like a Rebel list, because you're like, here's my 90,000 bears and my giant walker. Good luck. If you can deal with them, you just win. So you're kind of taking the rock, paper, scissors meta, and you're kind of having to try to play a little bit of all 3 at the same time. At least that's how I approach it.
Okay. Well, let me throw that out right now, right? So we're getting into kind of the final stretch of this competitive season with it capping off at Worlds, right?
Right.
We've got Cherokee coming up. We've got Adepticon coming up. We've got, I think, Windy City.
Yep, that's this weekend.
Yeah, and then we've got maybe there's one out in Colorado, I think. But we've got a handful of conventions left. What are the 3 meta lists that you're preparing for as a Rebel player? I think we all would agree that General Grievous Wheelbike, Double Heavy, Triple Stab is going to be one of those lists because of its popularity
probably.
right now.
I haven't played against it yet. No, I don't have a lot of great CIS players. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I did yesterday.
I'm actually not, and I may eat crow. I'm not super spooked of it, specifically with the way I have to play, because it has to run into me, which I absolutely love.
Gotcha.
I think other Rebel lists definitely need to be afraid of it, but I think with what I'm been playing, I'm not super spooked. I think the all stormtroopers all the time with an ATST or with Vader or with whatever your 150 to 200 point like cool thing also thrown in of choice is going to be one of them. And then I think it's, Aqua's got a point hit. I don't think they're going away. And then it's Bright Tree. Do you have an answer for Bright Tree? If you don't,
Tree is the final. Okay.
Yeah, it may not be the most meta list, but if you hit it, and you don't have a plan, you're dead. You're just dead.
Yeah. 15 activations with 100 and I think 12 wounds on average.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the things that I think if you can cover those bases, you can cover while those might not be the 3 like most meta lists. You'll have answers for armor. You'll have answers for trooper spam. You'll have answers for strong character play. As long as you kind of have those 3 covered, you're not going to win all of those, but as long as you can like stave it off, I think you have a good chance to pull some nonsense out.
It is interesting that Gar wasn't on that list at all, but that's a podcast for a different day. For today, we got to talk about character selection. So we're not playing in a battle force, so we have a wide field of characters within Rebels. How many commanders are you taking? How many operatives are you taking? Are you just taking field commanders like Shriv?
Right.
Hit me with your thoughts, gentlemen.
I think Ryan has already pointed out that we build lists very differently. And so this, this is going to be 2 different viewpoints of Rebels here.
Great. That's
because
what we
Rebels,
want.
I think, in general, are very diverse. There's not necessarily an obvious way to build them, I think. And so lately, since the custom commanders have come out, I have a really hard time not taking a proven tactician commander.
Okay.
Because Courage 3 and the quick thinking exemplar, that has really juiced up my offense and made some of my dice more reliable, just having an aim standing around and then an extra dodge, obviously. And then from there, I think operatives are the most exciting thing to me in Rebels.
Yeah.
And so I usually have an operative or 2, maybe 3 if I'm feeling Cassian K2
Yeah.
and something else. And so like that's my focal point. That's what I start with. Because unlike Ryan suggested, starting a list with a plan on objectives and like a thing you want to be ready for and like preparing for metas, I am a more vibes based rebel player. So I'm like, I'm starting with some kind of synergy or like character that I want to see on the table. So I want that Courage 3 commander to help everything else, and then I want those operatives, something that I find exciting and interesting. I want those, and then from there I just build out everything else.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a fair way to approach it. I think of my commanders and operatives almost as like the last thing I put in my list,
which is crazy to me.
Okay.
Which is to like stopgap of like, what am I really bad at? What do I need a fix for? I've only put the proven tactician on the table, I think, once. Granted, I've been playing a list and no one's made me put it away yet. I'm sure somebody very soon will. But I need Lando in my list.
Oh, okay.
Because I need a way to stop melee trash. Like, you get into my lines and I'm dozos.
You just want the immobilized card.
I need the immobilized card. I need his while he isn't Courage 3, he's kind of Courage 3 for core, which is typically what you're taking it for, and people underestimate his guidance core trooper for the recover possibilities. Like being able to just clear all of the suppression is what I honestly, outside of turn 1, use it the most for.
Really? Not standbys?
If you're going to give me an opportunity to, sure, I'll take it.
We could talk for hours about your Lando play then, because I'm so intrigued.
Yeah. Because getting like for me, like if you get to do the standby shenanigans, you're asking your opponent to make a mistake. You're like, I'm going to do this thing that you can decide is a meaningless action. And sometimes area denial is fine. Sometimes you get an extra shot off. But sometimes making sure your speed 1 vets can get an extra move, or you can get that extra aim token or that extra dodge token to stay alive. And depending on if you're playing Bring Them to Heal, or if you think you may, because I am just Courage 2, I may panic at the end of the round just being able to clear. I've cleared 6 suppression with a recover before, and it was awesome.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you pair that with any exhaustible upgrades to double up on the effectiveness?
No, not typically. Not I tend to run my vets very, very, very light.
Rebel core before, but we don't put upgrades on them. It's a heavy.
I think you both know I don't have a single rebel game under my.
And I do think that's an important point to make. And Eric, I don't think you'll push back on this outside of your characters. Just because you have upgrade slots does not mean you take them.
Yeah,
I think that's true probably for every faction, but I think that is most true for Rebels when you are trying to like maximize your activation counts. This unit has this job. My best CAD Mandos have one job, and that's to slow down the big scary thing in melee. It's not to win, it's just to chill there. So I'm not always taking all of the tricks that they can take that are expensive upgrades that make them cool, because I'm not going to use them. And so if you're building your first 600 point army, if you're just getting started, if you notice that you haven't used an upgrade for 3 games, take it out. You don't need it. You do that
Agreed.
10 times, that's an activation.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Just because you have slots does not mean you have to fill them. It's finding the most like efficient way to use each and every one of those points that you have.
Okay. Let me ask you a few other things then here, gentlemen. So Courage 3 commanders are really important in the game. Your Courage 3 commander options are Commander Luke and your proven tactician officer, I believe, right?
Or a Jin with inspiring presence.
Or a Jin with
inspiring presence.
Those are our only options.
How much do you value that Courage 3?
I don't.
Okay, we got one. I don't. Eric?
I mean, I've already said I put a proven tactician in pretty much on my list. So
you did.
Yeah, I don't think the Courage is as big of a deal for me as like he is really just a token battery.
Exactly.
And I think Rebels historically, like we have smaller dice pools, and so we need those dice pools to hit. And usually they're pretty good at hitting, but sometimes like they just whiff. And so having an aim sitting around to like make sure they hit and you're doing damage, because if Rebels aren't doing damage, we're not keeping up on attrition. Like
correct.
that's just how it is. And so I think he's there. I usually just camp him out next to vets in a Mark II.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to whiff a roll there and just get that free reroll
need some help.
crit
Yeah,
two
especially if you're getting to reroll critical guns, it's so clutch.
Yeah.
But to the specifically the courage 3 point, if I have taken 5 suppression, which is the number of suppression I need to make courage 3 matter over courage 2, and I'm not dead, like I'm a happy camper.
Okay, that's a
yeah. As a rebel player,
yeah,
Richard, this is where you probably wouldn't understand. We die
white saves versus red
very
saves
quickly
and all that.
Yeah.
We don't have the body
dodge
count that CIS does.
The dodge faction, we only recently got token batteries, so we weren't really getting a way to generate a ton of tokens up until relatively recently. We still just die. So I think courage 2 for them for like giving the commander aura is fine. I wish a couple of characters had courage 3 just so they could be guaranteed to get their double actions more often than not, but not necessarily for the ability to give it to other people.
Okay. I want to touch on 2 more things within character selection here. First up, rebels now have access to bounty and even double bounty. Is that a consideration you're making right now with your list building? Extra VPs are nice. I guess the same.
Extra VPs are nice.
Let's lump that into extra VPs of bounties and secret mission. Are either one of those considerations with your character selection?
So over the summer, I was really trying to make double bounty work, and then it morphed into single bounty. And I think over several tournaments, one of which was Gen Con, 6 games at Gen Con or 7 games, whatever it was. I think I hit it once, so not really. Like, even if you're kind of like, if you're going for it, you've got your big haymaker, like having to chase a particular target when really you just need it to be somewhere else to like win the game. So it's like nice if you get it. Din is worth taking for other reasons. I don't think it's worth it for bounty. I need more games with new Cassian with secret mission. R2D2 does not exist.
I fall in a similar camp. I agree. Din is a fantastic character, but it's not necessarily because of bounty. I think if you get it, that's great. But he fills a role that rebels have a hard time filling, and so he's really good for what he does. And if you want to throw IG-11 in, sure.
He's a unit you're allowed to take.
Yes, he's just not very good at killing things.
Okay,
yeah, he's a machine made for not killing.
I know that we did a bounty hunter episode a while back, and I was a lot stronger on IG-11 than the rest of our crew was. He just doesn't. He's just not there. Yeah, I will agree with the current meta and where armor lists are starting to push into the forefront of everything. I do agree that he falls behind a little bit more than some of the other options.
Yeah, and for like the character piece as a whole, to kind of circle back, like they are such a defining part of your list, especially with when it comes to your command cards. That's why I like to look at them last and be like, what do I need fixing? Do I need something that can take some impact? Do I need another flamer? Because I think you need at least one, if not more, flamers in your list just to be able to deal, or spray weapons, maybe not flamers, but spray weapons, to be able to clear out those high activation B1s or those Ewoks, or just to draw hate.
Everybody hates a flamer.
Because for me, like, that's the way to make rebels work, is you have to draw hate, you have to draw aggro, kind of like you're playing an MMO, and you have to decide what your opponent's going to shoot, because if they just shoot what they want, they're going to hit your soft core that are doing your critical work, that are holding your objectives, and you're going to have some sleeper cells or a bad batch or a din, kind of like standing, scoring a single POI while your activations just die. You have to decide where the engagement's going to happen and try to force your opponent's hand as best they can. And they definitely have tricks to do that.
Okay. What about force users? Is there consideration for, we've talked a little bit about the Lukes. We also have Ahsoka. How are we feeling about 1 force user, 2 force users? I know Commander Luke and Ahsoka as a pair together has been really popular in the Raleigh area recently.
I played it for a while.
Mhm.
I think after a few games of it and a lot of thinking, like I think Commander Luke, like it just isn't worth his points.
He's just not there. Yeah.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
still really like Ahsoka as an operative, and I think she actually hits above her weight class more often than not in my experience. Like
Yeah.
I had some pretty good games with her where she did a lot of work. And so I found myself taking out Commander Luke and just putting in I started toying around with some Sabine lists and pairing her with Sabine, which I think I would have liked more. I haven't put it on the table yet though.
Yeah, I think Commander Luke, and for me, and I'm the Bobo the Clown for this. I've not played a ton of 40-point force push. Because that for me that is an entire activation. And can it win a game? Yes. Or I can just blow whatever I'm going to force push up. And I don't like Commander Luke.
Generally, my opinion too.
Half the reason you take force push is not to get bogged down, which Operative Luke doesn't particularly care about.
Right.
With disengage. So like the other half is to push people off POIs, and that is super valuable. But he gets. It's worth like 20 points to him, maybe not 40. I know I'm in the minority for saying that.
I mean, not in this podcast, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe in the wider competitive scene.
The issue with both Luke and Ahsoka as quote unquote force users is in a lot of the other force users, I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of the other force users lend utility to their army with the command cards that they bring.
And
Luke and Ahsoka, they feed themselves. They spool themselves up to do what they need to do outside of Operative Luke's 3-pip, which just kind of slows the whole game down.
Also say Ahsoka's 2-pip is great. Swift Protector. I have had a lot of good turns with her, like running up next to a sleeper cell or something, like as a little flanking force. And so, you want to shoot the sleepers, they're going to get a free dodge right away. And that's like, they die when they don't have dodges.
Right.
And then she also has Guardian, so she can soak a little bit of the wounds, give them dodges, and then they're dodged up for the whole round.
Yeah, and you're probably exactly right. The last time I put Ahsoka on the table, I want to say that card got phased out because I was playing like Cassian and I forget what other hero I had that I think it was Cassian, Ahsoka, and Han, and I just would have much rather have had the other two.
Yeah. So when
for what I was doing.
When I play Ahsoka, she is so order hungry. I try and keep all other characters out, except for trying out Ahsoka Sabine. She is the focal point, and she's going to get an order, and everything else is generic and like multiples, so like multiple sleepers, multiple vets, multiple Mark IIs, like run it vanilla. So she is the focal point, and then she can really shine in that role.
Okay. Yeah, I've not played her that way. If I want to play a Jedi that way, I tend to just take Operative Luke, but that's just because I have more reps with him, and that's I think just a preference thing.
Yeah, and I find he's just too expensive. It's so much.
It is so much. It is for sure.
Yeah, but when he drops "I am a Jedi," and suddenly
it is a game defining card. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. We have talked about characters. We've gotten some really good philosophy on them. Let's talk about the other thing that you are required to take in a list then, the core selection. You have 3 options, if I'm not mistaken, for if you want to include the Mark II, if you're taking some vets.
Yeah, but Ewoks or pikes.
I was about to say, you do technically have skirmishers, and I think they're...
Yeah, but they don't... Pikes.
But
they don't count. We're talking about filling your minimum 3.
Oh, okay, I see.
So several things. Let's talk about your core. Which ones do you like and why? But also, do you take your minimum core naked as like your core tax, or do you fill out all 6 of those slots?
I think Rebel cores at minimum almost always are at least taking heavies, because they're defining for the Rebel vets, they're defining for the Fleet Trooper. If nothing else, the SX-21 is so darn cheap for what you get for it.
13 points, right?
Yeah, 13 points for 4 dice seems pretty rad. That you just wouldn't not want to. I cannot tell you the last time I played a 3-core Rebel list. Well, I don't think there are best options, order control for rebels is really, really hard. So maximizing core is helpful just to control your bag. Being able
Okay.
to get as few token types in there as possible. Because either you're ordering all your heroes and then you're just kind of pulling stuff out of the bag, or you've got kind of some other, plan. But I'm also not the right guy to ask because like it's rebel vets. It's only rebel vets and sometimes a fleet trooper. So
Okay.
Yeah, I actually think all of our core options are pretty solid. I
yeah, they're all
definitely don't
fine.
take them naked. I think they
Yeah.
all thrive in a specific role. I
Mm,
think I've
mm-hmm.
said on this show plenty of times, like I love a fat fleet trooper with a shotgun.
Yep.
Just picking up 20 dice and just blasting something is amazing. I have toyed around
22 with the new Cassian.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I've toyed around with.
I think 5-man fleets are also just
5-man fleets are good too.
perfectly fine for their point cost. Like
Yep.
to sit on a back point, they don't have like the range threat. But if you're playing an objective that requires you
Mhm.
at all to come to me, you gotta think about it before those
Yep.
fleet troopers double move on top of you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think
62
Rebel
points
Troopers
for all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebel Troopers, like Ryan said, at least with an SX 13 or 21, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, yeah.
That's a good option. I think the Ion is hot right now just because of all the armor and the CIS running around. That's a very good heavy weapon right now. And then Ryan and I think it sounds like we're both in the minority, but we heavily agree that vets are good.
Yes.
And so, like I said earlier, like I usually do at least 2 vets and 2 Mark IIs, and they're there to lay down some long range fire and standby bubbles. Sometimes people like are weirdly nervous about standbys, and it's like it's just 4 black dice, but it really messes with some people.
Yeah, it really messes with people. It invites your opponents to like overthink things and make mistakes. Every time my opponent like takes an activation to like strip a standby with a shot that's probably not going to kill the Mark II, I am like so happy.
Yeah.
And those are the circumstances where like Lando starts off because it's just the psychology of it is like when you're across the table from it, you are seeing every possibility of how your army can get blown up by this standby token when you try to move and make a play. But you forget that all of those scenarios can't happen. Only one of them can. And so you just pick the one that hurts you the less and you set the standby token off. But yeah, no, vets are killer because when we talked about how like rebels kind of have to be like non-committal and have a little bit of plan for everything, that's critical to keyword. Like,
okay, very nice. Well, how about where do you go from there? Right, we've got our commander, we've got our characters. Maybe if unless Ryan's doing it at the very end, we've got our core. What's next? Special forces, vehicles, support options, tauntauns.
Yeah, the bread and butter of rebels right now is you're building your list around your special forces.
Okay, well, let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are you in love with Rebel Special Forces? It's Wookiees, right?
Yes. Yes, it's absolutely. I think there's a world where you take Wookiees.
What is that world?
A set of Wookiees.
Would love to hear
it's so it's kind of like not bury the lead. I don't like triple sleeper.
Agreed.
I think the power of the sleeper cell is being able to make sure you go last with it.
Yep.
And when you're having 3 of them, the first one may not have, by the time it comes out of the bag and you have to start activating special forces, they might not have a target. They move out, they die. It's really the last one, as far back in the bag as you can hold them, that's going to be the most value that you can get. So what I've been taking is in Creole cooking, and I'm from New Orleans, there's this thing called the Holy Trinity, of ingredients, which is your carrot, celery, and your garlic, and onion, and garlic is the Pope. I am taking
that's 4 ingredients, not 3.
Yeah. I have found so many of my lists. My 3 special forces slots are a Mando, typically a Beskad. If I have another melee specialist, I can flex to Tristan for a little bit of Pierce, a slinger, big slinger squad, and 1 set of sleepers, because they all want to activate at different times, and I don't have bag control. So on turn 1, I can bring the slingers out and they can just kind of chill and act as kind of a pseudo. Get them on the table where I need to, threaten with 10 hard to remove black dice, and just kind of like they're here, they're going to do stuff if you let them. I'm going to have my Mandos to go tie down whoever you're trying to charge my lines with. And then I have the most opportunities to keep my third special forces, my sleeper, in the bag. And then on the next turn, you activate those in the reverse order. Where you want your sleepers to go first on turn 2. And so they all want to act at different times. It's not like I'm trying to lump one thing together. And I have found a lot of success with that.
Interesting. Okay.
That makes sense.
And so I think the Wookiees can, if you have them because they're in the core box, or maybe you just need more hit points, you don't care about the red saves. I think they can fill that kind of Mando role of like run onto the table and just be a problem for 2 to 3 turns and hold something in place that doesn't want to be there.
Especially if you dump them out of a bus.
Hard. Yeah, especially if you dump them out of a bus. So I don't think they're like auto includes, but if you got your core box, you got some Wookiees in it, I think there's a place for them.
Okay. Eric, what about you?
It's kind of an old, boring take, but I think you need to have a reason not to take at least one sleeper cell. That's really, I don't have a whole lot to add outside of what Ryan said. I've been toying around with, I know, Richard, we've had conversations about it. I have a naked commando and a sniper strike team in my current list, and like,
I don't hate it.
That's kind of where I'm at. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
I was playing for a while. It wasn't a naked commando. It was a commando with a SAB, because rebels can kind of struggle with impact. It's reasonably cheap. Yep. And then a sniper strike team. If I'm doing that, I pair it with Chewie, and they get in. It guarantees that they get in.
Okay.
Because you deploy them out there, you just put cohere one guy at range 1 of Chewie. They want to shoot your commandos. They now have to eat the low profile. They have to eat the cover. Yep. They have to eat through the Guardian, and you lose 1 or 2 minis, and you're probably fine. And even if the SAB is not doing SAB things, 5 black dice sharpshooter 1 at picking off something that's out of cover and just has suppression cover can get some work done. They're a little expensive, but like I don't think they're as dead as people put them out there to be. Am I running them? Absolutely not, because what they do, my vets do better. If I'm playing a bunch of fleets, or if I'm playing rebel troopers that need to just kind of zerg all over the map, that's one thing. But just being kind of a solid, like, here's 4 to 5 black dice, sharpshooter, I'm going to force some things through cover. I think they're fine.
And so the rest of that list, actually, Ryan, is a lot like yours. I have a Mando with a Beskad, and I have a sleeper, and then so I have 4 special forces. I can really just delay as long as I want,
as long as you
get
need
that sleeper cell.
That's smart.
And I think the high velocity in Pierce, I also have operative Cassian in sniper mode to start.
Sure.
And so it's like, I've got options to like cut through some of the dodge spam nonsense. I can make it crits with Cassian to get a little bit impact Pierce. I've liked the long range poke, because that's something, like you said, rebels don't have a lot of at the moment, or at least aren't good at.
Well, I like it, gentlemen. That covers our general thoughts on rebel list building. Then we're going to give the listeners something they want, which is examples. So I did not instruct you very well on what to do. I think, Eric, I didn't give you a number. Ryan, I gave you 3. I meant to give you both.
I think you told me like 2 to 3, and
you went with 3.
Yeah,
great.
I went with
3, I was
'cause
hoping we'd get 4 examples of up to 600 points. We have 4 examples of up to 600 points. So if one of you has a list up and want to share your screen and go first, walk us through.
You don't want me to share my screen.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a Legion HQ2 guy. I'm not in that ecosystem.
We're not going to hold that against you. I don't think. Yeah, that's fine. There is another option out there.
Yeah,
in case our listeners didn't know, there is another list building website out there. Tabletop Corporal or something.
Tabletop Ensign. Yeah.
They're good people out of Virginia.
They are. Yeah.
They are.
Okay, walk us through.
Yeah, this is like kind of your stock standard. Like, I want to play just like rebel good stuff. It's you're getting up to 7 acts at 600 at 566 points, so you still have a lot of room to play with. This is, I want to take my Din, my Bad Batch, my Luke.
I'm going to
Yeah.
stop you real quick, Ryan. We are a podcast primarily. I'm going to need you to read that out for people who are not watching on YouTube.
Sure. We will. We're doing the preamble, the setup.
Oh, the preamble. Okay. My apologies.
Ryan's a storyteller, Richard. You got to give him some setup.
The rest of this list is going to be that Eric Maylot, like, this is the thing I want to put on the table for 400 points. And this is going to be the backbone that kind of like plays the rest of the game for me while Ahsoka goes off and does her own thing, or Din does his own thing. And it's just a Leia sitting in the back line with improv and portable scanners, a big Cassian fleet trooper, 2 backline Ion rebels, double sleeper, no upgrades. I'm really coming around on the no astromech. Obviously it's a luxury item. If you build your list out and you've got like 30 points left over, you can feel free to.
I've been saying usually, it for a while.
Yeah, the 1 to 2 dodge tokens that they're going to get is nice, but you have to activate them early. Maybe you've got that order control, maybe you don't. And then kind of padding that out with a big slinger squad. So you're getting 7 acts for under 600 points with a lot of wounds and a lot of dodge tokens to kind of chew through, just to be your stable backline. And if you are learning to play Rebels, this is probably, of what I've kind of put together, where I would stick you. Because it's just a lot of bodies that can sit on a backline and kind of outplay your opponent while they deal with whatever else you decided to bring for 400 points.
Yeah,
or 450 points.
Okay. Yeah, we kind of skipped over the boogeyman in the room. This 127 point monster of Cassian fleets, double stuffed with a shotgun, and the monstrosity that can be.
I mean, I've yet to. It's spooky. It is very. You can deal with it. It's
yeah. It is still fleet troopers, and they don't have defensive tech. Like, it will die.
Yeah, I think this is my experience. So table dependent. Now, it does draw heat. Your opponent is shooting this instead of other things, and so if you don't have like line of sight blockers to like juke and jive it between, you can still use it for that purpose. But you're not getting secret mission off of this. Honestly, in this list, I would try to find the 3 points for impact grenades and make this your anti-armor piece. Just because it's so many dice.
Yeah.
You have charge, so you can find the weak point. And then with impact grenades and a weak point, you're getting up to impact 4, impact 5, plus a whole bunch of dice on top of that.
22 dice, you're pushing 3 natural crits plus.
I mean, 22 at full health. Let's not.
You're not.
That you're charging at full health. You're
never getting your play to where you need to be full health, unless you are you've got Leia and Lando, and you're just like scooting them up the board. So
yeah.
Okay. I will say I was scarred by this when a Cassian and just the shotgun left turned around in one shot a unit of superstorms on me. Now, granted, did dice things go weird? Yes, absolutely. They landed every single piece of paint. I blocked nothing for cover, and I blocked 1 on defense, and it got pierced. Abnormal, but that can happen. The fact that you can be down to just Cassian and the one other dude, and you're still throwing 9 white, 4 red, pierce 1.
Yeah.
Surge hit. That's not bad. 13 dice off 2 models is respectable.
That's pretty bonkers.
And aren't you? Sure. You've got uncanny luck and infinite courage once you flip the card.
Yes. I'm of a firm believer that like the uncanny luck is a superior downgrade to the low profile that you're giving up to get it.
I would agree.
Okay. I'm getting the 33% chance at 1 extra die versus just removing 1.
Yeah. I think uncanny luck is a lot like danger sense, where the higher the number, the better it, like obviously the higher number the better it is, but at low numbers it's just not really much.
It's neat.
Yeah. So, it might save you once in a while, but it can't be relied upon.
Yeah, mathematically it'll save you 1 out of 3 times on his saves. So
fair enough. Let's move to list number 2, Mr. Maylot. What do you got for us?
Right. So I took the, what I said earlier about having fun with Ahsoka. I basically just went with Ahsoka. So I built my 600 point starting army around Ahsoka. I put in my proven tactician. Oh, sorry. I should read this out. So proven tactician commander with improvised orders, thermal detonator, Ahsoka, burst of speed, force reflexes, into the fray, and tenacity. That's how I've been running her and had a pretty
Sure.
good time with it. Just 2 rebel vets with the heavy, 2 Mark IIs with dug in, and 2 naked sleepers. Like Ryan said, I've kind of been preaching the either naked sleeper. I also have toyed around with up close and personal on them to save 2 points, and you get the same number of dodges in most turns. There is also a world where you pair them with like a strike team leader, and they start the turn with that dodge, and that's money because then they don't need to activate right away.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, this is my Rebel Vets. Mark IIs are going to hold back points. I'm going to run Sleepers and Ahsoka at you, and whatever you do with the 400 points can fill out some of the flaws in that general strategy.
Yeah,
but I think it's a good, solid starting point.
No, I agree. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, you got a little bit of that front line, you got a little bit of that support, and a little bit of the back line. I like it. Okay.
Yep.
Ryan, we're back to you for the last 2 lists.
All right, I think we'll do this one next. This is not the one we're going to do next, but we'll go here. This is fine. This has been what I've been playing, kind of broken down, and where I would start if you wanted to play like the Sliwoski special, and it's just Lando with improv, double vet, double Mark II. If you have any amount of points, Rebel Vets with duck and cover is absolute cash money because it guarantees you to get your low profile, even if they snake around cover. If they do that, find some cheeky shot, or I tend to play fast and don't think about all the firing angles. So, no, you caught me out from behind this barricade or this building that I was trying to hide behind. I guess I'll just have light cover, but you're triggering your low profile all the time. It sucks that it's an extra suppression on a Courage 1 unit. Lando's just going to recover it off of them. It's just a little safety blanket that's saves you at a guaranteed wound every time you get shot, which is no small feat in Rebels. Dug in Mark IIs. You don't need duck in; it is a luxury, but man, is it a great luxury.
Yep.
And then double flamer RTs, because they cannot shoot the Mark IIs, they cannot shoot the vets, they cannot shoot Lando until these RTs are dealt with.
Right.
Very, very few armies, even if they're red saves, even if they're not Ewoks, aren't going to let flamethrowers just walk up on them.
No, and you throw 2 black surge crit, right?
2 black surge crit per mini. And just the ability, like, obviously, most games, these guys don't even fire. But just the ability for them to, like, either double move forward and then move forward and stand by just to keep them off of POIs, or even just move forward and stand by turn 1 if you've got, like, someone's, doing the Imperial March scouts or throwing something out of a transport, or the scouting Ewok slingers, whatever it happens to be. You can just be like, you stay over there, and I don't want to be near you. It buys the rest of your army so much time to just kind of spray and pray. And this is whenever I build a list, and I think this is probably true for all of the conversations you guys are going to have across all of the factions. I'm a big fan of iteration. I only like to change about 20% of my list game to game, even when I'm trying to figure out what I'm playing. Very rarely do I just take that, this list didn't work, into the bin you go. And when I distilled my list down, the playmaker pieces that I've been playing with have been Din, or they've been Bad Batch, or they've been Luke, or they've been whatever. That's all changed. My special forces breakdown has changed from multiple sleepers to the holy trinity of Beskad, slingers, and Ewoks. Thank you. So this has just been like, this is my comfort place where I'm happy to start, and then whatever I want to kind of sprinkle in after the fact, whatever I think the meta is going to do, this can hold my back line and let me get up on VPs while you deal with my army, while I take a flank with whatever else is. And here's the thing. You told me to bring 600 points worth of lists. This is 7 activations at 484 points.
Yeah, you really got a bargain basement deal here with 7 activations for under 500 points. And these are decent activations too.
Yeah, I can deal with a little bit of armor with my critical. I got critical 8 here. I can hold a force user in place with Lando's 1 pip. I can torch big infantry squads with my ATRT. So literally, I've got not all of my bases covered well, but I've got them covered, and I can kind of spread to whatever direction I want.
And you have 500 points to do whatever you need to.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a really nice starting place. I like that a lot.
And then last but not least, because if we're going to put all the characters in here, except for Luke Skywalker, because he's either not good or too expensive, if you want to play the teamwork nonsense, I had to include a Han Chewie list. I've played a ton of them. I absolutely love them. Improv, E-Gear, Han, because I think if you've got a steady unit, you want E-Gear as much as you can, especially if they're going to be aggressive. Like Lando is steady, but he doesn't really need it, because if he's fighting and you need him to do a thing, something has gone very wrong. But Han wants to be in the thick of things. If you've got the extra 8 points to put up close on Han, great. Protector Chewbacca, as just a regular scattergun fleet to kind of run with Han and Chewie to just make a absolute range 2 skirmish monster. 2 SX-21s, and then that holy trinity I talked about of Rebel Special Forces. At 8 activations, it's at 13 over the assignment. But
now, one thing I'm surprised not to see is up close and personal on Han.
I was trying it. You're probably finding a way to fit it in. I was already kind of over the assignment. Gotcha. I do think it's a luxury form. I don't think it's a thing you absolutely have to have, especially with Chewie there.
I don't know if I agree with you. Getting 2 dodge tokens is really good for performing an action you're already going to perform.
Yeah, it definitely can be, but when Han needs it the most, he can't get it. Because that's when he's engaged in melee. That's when he's not able to make his multiple ranged attacks. That's when he's not able to necessarily share with Chewie. And hopefully when you're bringing Han out there and he is doing some shooting, you're peekabooing to where you're not taking too much return fire. Yeah. You're eating the rest with cover, Chewbacca, low profile, uncanny luck. I really obviously it's nice to have, especially because it does double up to Chewie. But if we're trying to stick to 600 points, I don't think it's essential on him. I really don't.
Okay.
So
there you have it. Luxury item.
I don't think I've ever been brave enough to run Han without up close on him.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I mean, to each their own.
I'm not advising it. Like, hopefully, that's when you have your points that left over that aren't another action. You're finding a way for it. But I think if it's gonna be an activation or up close, like if Han's the thing getting focus fire down, you've already done something wrong.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, gentlemen,
unless you're playing Tim, because Tim is famously.
Yeah, well, that's just a different psychological damage.
Yeah, that's free. That's free. Well, thank you for the 4 examples, gentlemen. That was very informative. Hopefully, our listeners have taken away some good tips, tricks for how to start building rebels.
Okay.
We hit those characters. We hit those core as options. Battle forces, we just throw in the garbage can.
Yes, we did.
We talked about how to expand it from there. So go forth and be rebels. If you're not interested in listening to what we're into, you can cut out here. But if you are, Eric, what are you into?
So I think I talked about it once on what I'm into. I was in the middle of a D&D campaign that was nearing the end. And so that finished up at the end of last year. We are starting another campaign. So for the first time in creating my own character, because I joined mid-campaign, our DM just kind of made me a character that was somewhat fitting, but now I'm making my own character.
Are you playing 5th edition again?
Yeah. So I am learning all of the rules that go into character creation.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot.
It's a lot.
There's a lot.
And so I've spent a lot of time just kind of looking at it, but I'm really excited. I have a Tabaxi Warlock lined up that isn't quite finalized, but I'm pretty excited about what I can do with that. So that's what I've been into.
What's your pact? What's your
so in 2020, we're playing 2024 edition. Okay. And so we don't have a pact yet. That's not how Warlocks work anymore.
Interesting. I don't have the 2024.
Oh, wait. No, sorry. We do have a pact. We don't have a patron yet. I am Pact. I think it's
That's
like
even weird.
Narratively, that makes zero sense to me. Mechanically,
Agreed.
I kind of get why they did it, but like,
right.
I have made a pact with the nothing.
Yeah,
With air.
I have the Pact of the Blade.
Okay,
So,
classic.
You as a cat person warlock, you are an anime protagonist. I'm proud of you.
yeah, yep. I'm very excited.
Very nice.
You should be.
Ryan, this is a great segue and lead into
Yeah.
what you're into if it's what I'm anticipating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Twilight Imperium all over the place. I'm planning to play games in 3 states this year. It's going to be rad. But if you also like tabletop RPGs, you can come hang out with me. Richard's in one of my games. I have an account on Start Playing. I'll ask these guys to put it in the show notes at GM Ryan S. I'm going to be adding some more games in the new year now that we're getting things underway. I tend to run free games a couple Sundays a week if you want to come hang out with us. We have an Edge of the Empire Star Wars game. I just picked up all the Traveler books on sale, so I'm looking at maybe running some Traveler game. The only role-playing game where you can die in character creation.
Absolutely crazy.
So that'll be fun. I like to play a lot of other games that aren't necessarily 5th edition. But then, yeah, we're hitting tournaments. We'll be at Cherokee. I'll be at Windy City this weekend. And then at Adepticon is what's like solidified for so far for what I'll be getting into till you folks see me again, because Richard's not going to have me back on.
I think I was the one who invited you in the first place.
Yeah, but when I come up and beat you here in a couple weeks, we'll be back.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. As for me, we are filming this just after the holiday break. I got to go up north. I got to see my family. I met my niece for the first time.
Hey,
she's adorable. I got in trouble with my sister because I was the first person to witness her roll over and not her mother. So Tio got in trouble because he was watching and she did a cool thing.
My wife was in Mexico when Cassian took his first steps. So.
Oh no! Poor Taylor.
Yeah,
yeah. So that was absolutely fun. Absolutely loved it. Family and friends are everything. So always a good time.
All right.
You forgot to mention Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Yes,
also
I will be. Yes, Ryan is coming to our neck of the woods soon for Twilight Imperium.
Hell yeah!
And to film a game. A battle report against me and lose epically
I'm gonna
for
lose.
all of the internet to see for eternity.
Sure.
So check that out on our YouTube soon. The last thing we are adding a new quick thing for tournament advertisements because we are running the Cherokee Open again this year, working with Frontline Gaming. It is February 20th to the 22nd. We are playing 5 games of Legion, 3 on Saturday the 21st, 2 on Sunday. Open play starting probably about 4 p.m. on Friday once I get there and get some tables set up. So come out to absolutely the middle of nowhere in the mountains
of nowhere in
North Carolina.
If it's not snowy and you die on the mountain.
It is going to be 71 degrees here on Saturday. It's not. Granted, it's a month away.
The weather that far in advance. So we'll see.
But it's 71 degrees this weekend, so I have a lot of hope that we are not going to get snowed in for Cherokee.
In all the years that I've been attending Cherokee, we got a little bit of snow one year, but it wasn't enough to like close anything down or keep anybody away.
No, absolutely not. So it's a good time.
We've been lucky.
Come to the casino, drink with us, have a good time. Practice for Adepticon. World Championships around the corner, people.
Yeah,
get that practice.
For sure.
Ryan and Eric I are already planning board games for the evening on Friday or Saturday. So
or both.
Yep. Come join.
Let's do it. Eric, get us out of here.
Don't forget to grit to block.
So we'll take a break here and what's our second topic for the other hour?
Well, no. This is not STABcast. We are already well over our normal episode length, but
Richard playing host here is not keeping us under our tight 60-minute.
You knew this was going to happen when you invited me.
I felt like I did a pretty close job keeping us to an hour for the discussion topics.